Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Radio Works World. My name is Gill Barham, the Miracle Molecule host. And today our show is called Lighthearted Conversations. And my very special guest today is my very good friend and mentor and all-round lovely goddess and guru, as I call her, Marion Bevington. Hello.
Oh, hello. How wonderful for you to call me a goddess and a guru. I love it.
Now, have you had time to turn your bike around? Because you've just come off your own show, haven't you?
All I've done is lift my video thing up a little bit higher because I was looking at that before. Now I'm not quite. I've got a pile of books under here. Shall I show you which books they are?
Yeah, are they good books?
They're very good books. Find you.
Funnily enough. Okay, so we've got about 20 minutes together, you and I.
Wow.
Not forever. Yeah. So before we start on my light-hearted conversation with you, I'd like you, because I know who you are, obviously. I'd like you to tell everybody else, if they don't know you, who you are, what you do, what you're passionate about, all that stuff.
Okay. So I used to be a computer programmer, very good at programming. And so now I'm a people deprogrammer. And what that means is that I am very good at understanding patterns and digging down into the minute detail, the digital code, if you like, inside a pattern. And rather than doing that to machines, these days what I do is I do it with people and their behaviors so that they can become even more freaking awesome, as we say. I've recently produced a product called Speakeasy. You have to say it with a Scouse accent, Speakeasy. And Speakeasy is all about expressing yourself easily. So who are you? What's your authentic inner self actually expressing, and how can you most easily be the mouthpiece for that, if you like? That's what I like to do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And you're gonna have a chance a bit later on just to tell everybody a bit more information. But for now, we're going to go into my questions,
yes,
which you haven't seen. I'm just going to tell everybody that you don't know what I'm going to ask you, do you?
No idea. No. I have no idea what you're going to do to me, but I love it. I'm all about exposing myself, darling. That's what Speakeasy about. Speakeasy.
Yeah, I'd heard that, funnily enough. So this show is all about, now we know the business, Marion. You know, we know now what you do, a little bit of flavour of what you do.
Yes.
But this show is really all about getting to know the person behind the brand, behind the business.
Excellent.
Because I know that you agree with me that people want to work with you when they know you rather than what you know.
Yes.
So this show really is all about you giving us the opportunity to know a little bit about what goes on in Marion world.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So my first question then is, you are in a lift in a very posh building, posh hotel. And you're going up to the top floor, because why wouldn't you be in the penthouse floor? And there's one other person that gets into the lift, but the lift gets stuck between two floors. Now, you don't need to panic because you've got one of those glass lifts, so that means that you can look out and you're not going to get claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to know is, if you could choose anybody in the world to be in that lift with you for 2 hours, dead or alive, who would you like to spend 2 hours with in that lift?
Wow. 2 hours in the lift with, who would it be?
Somebody that you could grill, somebody that you could ask all those questions to.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny because I've just used a very similar metaphor, and I'm toying between the Dalai Lama and Nelson Mandela at the moment. Let's go with Nelson Mandela. That's who I'd like to be with. Yes.
Yeah, I think I think if I had a bucket list, he'd certainly be on mine. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember that day I was working in a hospital. I was nursing at the time, and I remember working on a late shift and the television was on in the ward, and very unusually. And I remember that I didn't go home because he was released, you know, during that evening.
Wow,
I don't think it's anything that we'll ever forget, really, will we?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so in this lift then, I've also provided you with a lovely table with a beautiful tablecloth of your choice.
Yes.
The colour of your choice. It might be gold, I don't know what it would be. And beautiful china and glassware and cutlery. And like the Harry Potter movies, I'm going to magic you up your favourite meal that you would like to share with Nelson Mandela. What would it be?
Coconut water. Coconut water, like fresh, and then we can have the jelly out of it afterwards. Oh, favourite foods. Oh, again, I was just talking about them before. Mangoes. I love mangoes. Just fresh fruits, especially tropical fruits. So, yeah, I love mango, pineapples, passion fruits. Yeah, coconut.
Okay, a bit like the lovely Marina. Actually, her chosen meal was very, very similar, mango fruits. And I'm not going to tell who she was sharing it with, because you'll have to listen. But hers was very similar. Okay, all right. So let's take Marion back to the 18-year-old youth. So at 18, would you like to share with us where you were living, what you were doing?
I can't remember what I was doing because I think I was drunk.
I think that tells us a
Intoxicated on something or other. 18, I was actually living in a foster home. It was a ladies' home. It wasn't a care centre. At 18, I was doing A-levels, and I was brilliant at school, never studied, complete nightmare to any school teacher, never did any work, pissed around all day in the classroom, just a complete nightmare student, and aced all my grades. Well, I did maths and science anyway. I was rubbish at English.
I've got one of those, so I relate to
that. So I was being my teacher's nightmare. But yeah, I was in the sixth form, and it was a really cool experience because I was being supported by my school, but it was very Catholic, and I've never been religious, and I've always been anti-establishment. But at that point in my life, actually, that was my saviour, because they organised the foster home for me. They wanted me to stay at school. My family life had become really disrupted and dysfunctional. So yeah, I was staying with the lovely Nora and studying for my A-levels when I was 18 and partying hard.
And did you stay in touch with the lovely Nora?
I did. She died about 15 years later. She was in her 60s when I moved in. Yeah, she really liked me, but again, you know, there was one of those things. I was a bit of an anomaly, very easy to get on with, very sweet, and then, you know, the party hard animal was also quite apparent.
And what was the music of that time for you? Were you in Liverpool, by the way?
I was in Liverpool in the 80s. So it was kind of a bit at the tail end of punk. I really love soul music and reggae music. So, and I love dancing. I like kind of mid-beat tempo kind of dancing. I didn't really like all the, you know, music to slash your wrists to stuff that some, you know, like Morrissey and people like that. I didn't get any of that stuff. But yeah, so 18, what would I have been dancing to? Yeah, just anything funky. Sister Sledge.
Chaka Khan.
Yay, love Chaka Khan. Brilliant. Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think we're similar age, aren't we? I can remember dancing to Chaka Khan.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'd like to take you to the 35-year-old Marion.
Okay.
Right. So what was the 35-year-old Marion doing, and where was she?
Wow. So at 35, I was this is when I was doing computer programming. I was working at Thompson's Holidays, I think, around that age. And so traveling a lot and partying hard. I'd been in quite a long relationship, and I'd come out of it a few years before. and I've never really gone back into a long-term relationship since. So I was really enjoying myself. I was raving, going to be, those illegal rave parties that used.
Oh yeah.
I was going to a lot of those, and then I was doing a lot of traveling as well because I was working at Thompson's Holidays. I actually went on a fabulous 2-week holiday to Barbados with my mum and 2 of her friends. I got the flights for like 20 quid or something return. So we all went off to Barbados, and I left them in Barbados, and I went to Trinidad for the carnival. And then I came back to Barbados and spent a few days with my mum and her friends. And that was a really, really amazing trip. Yeah, that's a very special memory. So
does that mean that although you had some difficult times at home, that you were reconciled with your family?
Then I was, yeah. By then I'd reconciled. I actually tried too hard, because I tried to go on holiday a few times with my mum, and when it was just the 2 of us, it was a disaster. But with her girlfriends, it was easy. It was very social, and she was a very social creature. We just had very, very different opinions and points of view on what you're supposed to do in your life. She was a good Catholic and I wasn't.
Yes, okay. Right, very interesting. Okay, so I've got some quick fire questions for you, and I want these to come straight from your heart.
Okay.
So straight away. So I think I know the answer to the first one. TV or radio?
Radio.
You don't even have a TV, do you?
No.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction. No, non-fiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Best habit?
Best habit? Laughter.
I agree with that.
Things all the time.
Worst habit?
Worst habit? Oh, junk food. Bread. I mean, it's not junk really, bread. That's my worst habit, actually.
Okay. And I was going to say, if you're in any doubt, well, ask Cheryl. She'll tell us, won't she?
Yeah.
And I'd like to know what you do to relax.
Yoga, meditation, dancing. I love dancing.
Where do you dance?
Well, I was dancing at my brother's house the other day. We just went round for dinner, and he put the music on. We had a few glasses of wine and started dancing. So
okay,
yeah,
it was there then.
I don't do it enough now. I used to do it every weekend. It was a regular thing of mine. That's not really happening at the moment. I think yoga's kind of taken over a little bit from my dancing, but yeah, I really love dancing.
Okay, and do you have any nicknames?
Mazzy B. At home, I've got 4 brothers. They call me Ma.
Ma.
Yeah, because they're Liverpool, isn't it? So I've got Terence. We call him Te.
Okay, and as you know, I'm a singer.
Yes.
And so if we were out together and I was up on stage and I dragged you up to sing your karaoke song, what would it be?
It's Hello by Lionel Richie, but sung in the style of Margarita Prakatan.
Who?
She used to be on Clive James.
Oh, what do you mean? Hello, are you?
Hello, is it me you're looking for? Like that.
I know exactly who you mean. Hilarious. Oh, goodness me. Okay, well, I knew this would be fun. There we go, everybody. Okay, so we're coming back to a bit of a theme, and we've already talked a little bit about it because you've mentioned it. So this next scenario is I'm going to send you away on holiday.
Oh, great.
Okay, and you can choose to go anywhere you like, but the rules are that there are all your flights and your hotels and everything are all organised.
Yes.
So there's no stress.
Yes.
Basically. Okay, so everything's organised. You've got an itinerary. It's all sorted.
Yes.
I'd like to know.
Yes.
Who you would take with you that you could spend a month with without a crossword.
Wow, so many people. God, I can't choose. There's like loads.
Oh, that's nice.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, if it's all hotels and stuff like that, actually, Cheryl would be somebody that I think I would go with. But there's like, I've got a list in my head and I'm going, yeah, I could go with them. Yes. Could go with Chris, could go with Tremaine. There's loads.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay. And we're going to try and create a track, a music playlist.
Oh yeah.
Alongside this. We're not quite sure how we're going to do it yet, but we're going to have a track from everybody that they have chosen.
Yes.
But I specifically would like you to think about something that is going to make you feel lighthearted, because we are having a lighthearted conversation after all. So what music track would you choose if you were thinking, oh, I'm feeling a bit, and I'd like to just lift myself up and feel a bit happier? What would you choose?
Okay, so this Chaka Khan is one of the songs that I love. And
well, I'm Every Woman.
No.
Oh.
I Feel For You.
Oh, yeah, I feel for you. Yeah.
But you have to sing it about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the at the end of that, the relationship I was talking about in my early 30s. He was really massively into music as well, and I had this. It was a cassette of music that he'd made for me, and I loved it, but I didn't want to listen to it because I thought I'd be upset because it reminded me of the old relationship that I used to like. And I just had this thought one day: what if I could listen to that and remember what it feels like to be in love? And rather than think about being in love with another person, how would it be if I was singing it to me, to myself? And it was really, really powerful. So yes, so Chaka Khan, I Feel For You, and you have to sing it about yourself.
Well, I would love to have a Chaka Khan track on my playlist. I think that's just the best news ever. But I think what's really interesting about that is, having worked with you, and I've known you for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or something, and I've been in your Wise Women community for a year or so. I think I was your first signee.
You were.
I was. I know that everything that you do with your cohort, the lovely Cheryl Chapman, is all about empowering women, and just that, the essence of what you talked about there was, it's about you, it's about I feel for you, it's about the woman, empowering those women, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, just before I'm speaking to you now, I was doing my half an hour rant, which always goes on a bit longer, and it was lovely because I was thinking about role models that I know. And all of the ones that I could think of were all women, which was really lovely. And the people I'm actually in a really lovely relationship with, they're all beautiful women.
So it's really interesting that you chose a bloke to go into the lift with you.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe he's in touch with his feminine side.
I think so. Well, the reason I'm interested in him is because of this non-violence. So how do you do power and non-violence in a masculine body? It's just fascinating to me, because my childhood was full of violence and powerful men who were very, very violent. So now I appreciate that power is not a violent thing. I'm much more interested in it than I was.
And it's particularly today, of course, or since the events of Manchester yesterday. It is really so poignant as well, isn't it? And it was quite interesting that I watched 2 politicians on the news yesterday giving their spiel about the events that had happened and the tragedy, and it was the man who made me cry. It was what he said that made me cry, because the woman was very much in her masculine yang, if you like, place, and it caught me by surprise, actually. Not that I don't appreciate that men have feminine sides, because I live with one.
Yes.
But it is interesting how and we've talked about this earlier, how we're in this very masculine world, aren't we, with Trump and May.
Well, the whole world is masculine. I mean, even computers, they're masculine, they're physical, they give out power. And the age of Aquarius, which we're in now, which we're moving into more and more deeply, is about receptivity and openness and the feminine. And so I don't think I know any female politicians who are not masculine. And when a woman becomes more masculine oriented in her energy, she's she has to disconnect even more forcefully from the feminine, because men more naturally fall into masculine energy. So there's no disconnection needed, and it's easier for them to welcome that feminine energy back in. So yeah, for me, if you're a woman in the current established political situation, you have to disconnect from some parts of your own femininity, or you wouldn't even go into that lifestyle. So for me, that doesn't surprise me at all that a man is, you know, a male politician would connect to his femininity more, or the receptivity, the vulnerability more easily than a woman in politics.
But isn't it interesting that as women, whether you're a, you know, whatever your background is that, you know, we've got women who are resonating with these women politicians, when actually I personally find that very difficult, and always have had. And it's not an equality thing. It's not that I don't think we should have women politicians. But, you know, the more I understand myself, because, you know, the work I've done with you is all about my journey, actually, and understanding myself, is that I understand that why now I don't resonate with them, because of that very masculine dominance, really, in their personality.
I think it's quite a shock. It's quite a trauma to be a woman in the world that we live in today, if you try to fit into those old patriarchal structures, because politics is a patriarchal structure. No, it's very interesting to be aware of. A powerful woman is so receptive and vulnerable if she's really in her feminine power. And also this thing about equality, we're not equal. We've got, have you seen the size of a Y chromosome compared to the X chromosome? It's that big. They've got teeny weeny little Y chromosome, and we've got this huge big X chromosome. We are far superior.
But I think what's relevant for me, and I know that you know what I do as a heart coach, is specifically with you know, with a focus on heart, is that, you know, a lot of the women I work with and help, not only work with, you know, people like you that I work with, but also people that are drawn to me, are these powerful entrepreneurs, and who are stuck between a rock and a hard place. In some senses.
Our innate feminine is crying out to be recognized and recaptured. I think that's what, for me, that's the sense, because I'm the same. I have lots of really powerful women clients, and the work that we do is amazing. And to see vulnerability as a power, as a strength, seems to be the key point of focus with the women that I work with, because it's perceived as a weakness. Vulnerability is always perceived as a weakness. And yes, I think that the whole idea that we are, in our vulnerability, we stand in our power. It feels a bit of a paradox in the mind.
And there's also a slight paradox in the body, and that's what I see, and that's obviously my passion too, is that because there is so much pressure around being everything to everybody, is that we see, or what I see is women particularly putting themselves under risk of particularly that very stressful scenario of being everything to everybody and putting everybody first and so on. Because to be a powerful woman and to keep your femininity means that you not only want to succeed in the workplace or in the entrepreneurial world, but also to be the mother and the sister and the loving wife and so on. So my question to you is very much in terms of, as you know, my book, The Heart of a Woman. I'd like you to share with us how you look after your heart. So not only the heart that's inside you, that beats 350 million times a year or in your lifetime, but also the heart that you have to give to the world. How do you nurture those two parts of you to keep you safe?
By tuning into my body as much as I can, by being as conscious in the present moment in this physical body and the information that it's got available for me as often and for as long as possible. It's where yoga really helped me to start, and the work that I do now has continued that same journey. I didn't realize that energetically I actually lived most of my life outside of my own body, trying to coordinate and cope in the space of communicating with others. We are, we've got this huge surface of the brain that's all about communication and connection. But actually the inner part, the foundation of our brain, is this innate body, this innate being that I am. And so turning my mind in to focus on the brilliant, intelligent fabulousness of the cellular structure that I'm in and the energy of that cellular structure. That's what I do. That's why I meditate. That's why I do yoga. It's why I dance. I dance with my eyes closed. And I also swing my arms around a lot, so don't never come too close when I'm dancing. There may be a violent incident, but it would be totally unconscious, be by accident.
I have to introduce you to my daughter Lydia, because you two are so similar, I have to say. But I think you're right, and the other way of describing it is kind of, for me, it's getting out of my head and into my heart.
Yes, where you place your attention. The attention doesn't live in the head. We kind of think it does, but it doesn't. The attention is something much freer than the mind, and we can use the mind to direct the attention. Unfortunately, the mind does think it's in charge quite a lot of the time, and it can take charge, which is why we end up sick usually.
Yes.
So yeah, for me to look after my heart, it's about being in the heart, or being in the body around the heart.
But I also know that you're careful about what you eat.
Yes, I am. Yeah. I mean, junk food for me is sourdough bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I am very careful about what I eat, and I'm also very moderate about my carefulness.
You have your moments, Marion, as well.
I do.
But I think, I think the 80-20 rule, and this is the way that you and I both work, and I think this is why we complement each other so nicely, is that it's not about being, a nun or, a saint.
God. No, I want to live this life.
Yeah.
Mangoes taste sweet. I want to eat them.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd just like to ask you, for you now, we've talked a little bit about what you do and so on. Yeah. But specifically, what's coming up for you now that you're really excited about? What's coming up soon?
Oh, there's two great things coming up. One is the Find Your Why Foundation, and that we've started to do more retreats. So there's going to be more events where people spend, 2 to 5 to 7 days with us. And during those 2, 5 or 7 days, we do loads of different processes and activities. And the other thing that we're doing is, with a Stardust campaign of Marina's, is getting really involved in helping more and more people, sprinkling them with our Stardust so that they can stand up and speak out and share their message. Because I know that for me, when I am in my best flow, in my best state, when I feel best, is when I'm communicating and I'm sharing what I love, and it's being received. Even if people don't accept it, just listening to it and being open-minded to whatever comes out of that as far as communication afterwards. But that sharing of messages and that sharing of communication from me, from my center rather than from my head, that is what Marina is giving everybody the opportunity to do with her Stardust campaign. Yeah. So yeah, sprinkling Stardust and finding your why. They're my two brilliant things that I'm getting more and more involved in.
Cool. And where can we find out more information about you, about your programs, about your Stage Fright Away, all that kind of stuff? Where does it all sit?
MarionBevington.com.
And it's all there?
It's all there.
Are the links to the Stardust campaign?
Yes, yeah, there's links to the Radio Works World work that we do, the events. I think there's a link to the events. There will be by the end of today. Look, I'm from an IT background, so I can go and fiddle around with my website. Yeah, Stage Fright Away is on there. The Wise Women are on there. The other work that I do with just becoming a better version of yourself. That's what the website's all about.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed our light-hearted
I've loved it.
Not that we never talk, but it's nice to have you to myself, actually.
And just different questions as well, aren't they? Nice questions.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll be able to share this on all platforms. And hopefully people will have a little bit more of an insight into the Marion, the lovely Marion, Mazzy B. Behind the brand.
Yes.
And I'll see you soon.
All right. Lovely. Thanks, Jill.
Bye.
Namaste. Bye.